Welcome to the Great Start Podcast, a podcast that brings you up to speed with matters Formula One. So sit in your cockpits, rev your engines, and let's go. How you doing, my people? Welcome back to another episode of the Great Start Podcast. My name is Brian Kibet, aka your local Formula One guy, and we are at episode 8 of the Great Start Podcast. So welcome, guys. Welcome again. Days and days come by, the season is just getting closer and closer. We had really missed the season. I don't know whether I was alone, but whenever I took walks, I'd always find the shortest way down the corner. If there's someone walking in front of me, I'd always find a way to ensure that I'm slipstreaming them and making a DRS overtake, just ensuring that I'm past them. But we are past the long wait for the 2022 Formula One season, and it is finally with us. Reason why I'm saying that is because our car launches are just here with us. Our car launches have started. We had Haas launching their livery last week on the 4th of February. And so things have started, man. The season has finally begun. We're about to see some very, very interesting looking cars, considering that there are massive rule changes for the Formula One 2022 season. But regardless of the situation, we are expecting very good looking cars. We are expecting tighter racing in 2022. A better season, with better decisions made, where we can see new champions, We can see people like Tsunoda on a podium. We could see Mick Schumacher getting a podium. We can see guys like Alonso coming back to their former glory, and Vettel. Oh my God, let's not forget Vettel, but basically that. So welcome to the podcast, guys. And we'll begin by the dragon in the room. By the last time we were releasing this podcast, the GOAT had not yet spoken. But as the title of this podcast says, the dragon has risen. Lewis Hamilton is finally back from the hiatus he had taken from social media, from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, 12th December 2021, all the way into this year, and he's back, and it has shut down a lot of rumors that were going around, that he's going to be replaced, that he may not come back, that I find ironic, actually, that it is the team that started those rumors, not blogs that as normal. It's Toto who came out clearly and said that he's very unsure whether Lewis will be able to come back, but he's back, and he had taken a very long break. We had numerous rumors. We had people like Sebastian Vettel being spoken to go to Mercedes to replace Hamilton if he didn't show up. We had Nick De Vries, who's the reserve driver, coming in to replace Lewis Hamilton. That means George Russell will become driver number 1. Which other rumor have I had? I've had so many rumors. I've had the Sebastian Vettel one. I've had that Nick De Vries. I think even at a point I had Oscar Piastri coming in because he's in the Mercedes Alpine program in Formula 2. So basically, we had so many rumors going around, so many things happening, but the king is back. The lion is back, and he is back roaring. And, if you sort of see whatever's happening around the Formula One world, it seems that his impact has actually had, his silence has actually had an impact on the FIA. It brought a lot of pressure onto the FIA for them to make reforms, for make them changes on how they do the rule making. And basically, we are seeing that we may end up seeing Michael Massey's as the race director's post broken down into various positions. So that instead of having one person making one unanimous decision, we are having multiple people making multiple decisions. Yeah. We're having a couple of people making a decision and they come together and make one unanimous decision, as many as opposed to just one person making one decision in a rush. Yeah. The other impact we're seeing of some of the things that happened in the 2021 season is we will not have the long loved, the short loved, the short lived um, direct talk to the race director from the team principals. So, like, where we see situations where we see Christian Horner talking directly to Michael Massey, or Toto talking directly to Michael Massey. We may not end up seeing that a lot this season, or rather, it was scrapped off, courtesy of the pressure. You know, it's also a very, very high pressure moment for Michael Massey, if you come to think of it, because you have Toto shouting at you. You know, he's like, "What's this?" and throwing his headphones everywhere and breaking them. And then you have Christian Horner asking for one more lap or two more laps, or asking for fair change. So basically, I do understand that is the right. I feel like that is the right decision to make. Trying to cover up for Michael Massey's role. Trying to ensure that the race integrity still remains, and that we are able to see fast and fair racing. Fast and fair racing, where we don't end up seeing situations where we find some certain fans somewhere previously who on a previous podcast before. So if you haven't listened to the podcast, guys, go and listen to the previous podcast before this. We don't see fans lamenting, saying, it's not worth it and all. And, sometimes I think, and I wonder, what if actually Lewis didn't come? What if he didn't come back? Would we be able to see someone else step up to his position? Would we be able to see another driver come up and be a world champion? But apart from that, the disappointment in, people's, in funds, in millions and millions of funds, in the team down there at Brixworth in Brackley. Man, even me as a Red Bull fan, man, I really, really wanted Lewis to come back. He needs that 8th World Championship. He needs the 8th World Championship to be better. And one of the things that I wrote down in my note is, it's also a question. It's also a question, guys. Do you think he's back bigger and better? Yeah. Do you think he is back bigger and better? There is some fierce competition from some middle tier teams coming up this season. The teams of the likes of Ferrari, McLaren, Aston Martin, not yet there, but definitely on their way. Alpine are coming along very, very well. So there is a lot of pressure from the middle tier teams, more especially Ferrari and the two drivers, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. Yeah. Who have been really improving over the seasons and getting better. And we've seen them a couple of times, really battle it out during the 2021 season. Seeing them really battling it out for a win or a podium or something of that sort. By the way, this is something that a lot of people don't know still. But in the 2021 season finisher in Abu Dhabi, Carlos Sainz took P3. Everything else was masked. Everyone else was masked inside the Red Bull, Mercedes, Michael Massey affair. But Carlos Sainz took P3 in Abu Dhabi. For those who didn't know, now you know. Yeah. So he did absolutely very well. Yeah, he did amazingly well. And if that trend continues, then we may probably get to see them basically get better and better and better. And who knows? They may come beat Red Bull, beat Mercedes. I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. Time will tell, guys. So there really hasn't been much in the Formula One world going on recently, apart from Lewis coming back and the launches that are coming around, and the FIA what? The FIA report on the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that will be coming out in 2 days' time, the 10th of February, 2022. So basically that is what is happening. So briefly, we'll just go into the car launches that will be happening in the season. Then yeah, we can call it a day. This is more of just an update on what has been happening in the Formula One world, not really an in-depth review of anything. But definitely once like the formal car launches start, which starts with our team, our great team, the Red Bull Racing team tomorrow, the 9th of February 2022. Then from there, I think we can take a little in-depth analysis on how the cars look like, the liveries, some of the aerodynamics. What can we spot on the cars? Yeah, how do their floors look? How do the rear wings look? The air intakes. Because I know that's going to be a really big disparity within the teams, especially for the air intakes. What was reviewed as the 2022 car that the FIA launched vis-a-vis what the teams will actually launch are two different things. So we will get to review that those cars as they get launched. So yeah, basically, as we go into the launches, Haas launched their livery last week online. And someone was asking me last week whether I think Haas will get to improve this season and be a better team. There was a time I was watching a video. There was a time Haas was actually battling it out at the front. It was a middle tier team, middle to top tier team when Romain Grosjean was in the team, and he had just come in from I don't know where, but he was doing really, really well. Romain Grosjean was number 2 with the Haas during the 2011, 2012, 2013 seasons. Number 2, number 1, number 2, number 1. This guy got to win a lot of races. Then I don't know what happened somewhere in the middle. I don't know whether it's the Ferrari scandal that happened in 2018 that also took a toll on them. I'm unsure, but basically, yeah, there was just that. So do I think Haas will improve this season? They definitely have a lot of work on their hands. They have a lot they need to do in order to improve, in order to get better, in order to ensure that they are able to break the boundaries of what they are doing, or what the performance they had last year. But another thing also to note is that they put a lot of emphasis on the 2022 season. Yeah. Out of all teams, I think that were in for it last year. I mean, I feel like Haas put the most emphasis on the 2022 season, because as early as April 2021, they were like, we have stopped the development of the 2022 one car. We are focusing on the 2022 car. So they'll definitely make a jump, but how high of a jump, I don't know. How best they can implement that change is up to them. So I think we're all looking forward to the tests in Barcelona and Bahrain that are up and coming soon, just after the last launch, the Alfa Romeo launch on the 27th of February. So I think that is when we'll actually come to know the actual stats, the actual performances of the performance of the car. So Haas launched its livery last week. We have Red Bull launching their car next week. Not next week, oh my God, tomorrow, the 9th of February, 2022. We have Aston Martin launching their car the next day, the 10th of February. We have McLaren launching their car on the 11th of February. Oh my God. So by the way, if you're planning to look for me this weekend, don't look for me. I will be watching the car launches. Analyzing it, getting downloads for the podcast. Then we have the Alpha Tauri launch that is on the Valentine's Day. I hope all my listeners, you guys have Valentines. And if you don't, and you feel like you need a Valentine, you don't need to do much. Just go to my link tree up there, or down in the podcast description. Just go to my link tree, and the first tab you get on the link tree is, you could get to support this podcast, support it in any way that you could possibly could, and yeah, I will be your Valentine, or the Great Start podcast will be your Valentine. So anyway, the Ferrari launch comes up next on the 17th of February, 2022. The Mercedes launch, the long-awaited launch, at the 18th of February, 2022. Then we have the Alpine launch on the 21st, and the Alfa Romeo on the 27th. So basically, those are the dates of the launches that are up and coming, and we will review them as they come. Definitely. So, yeah, I think basically that is that. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast, guys. As usual, get to share the podcast. Go to our Instagram page, go to our Twitter page. We get to post this podcast thumbnails on our Twitter page and our Instagram page. Our Instagram page is at the Great Start Podcast. Our Twitter page is at the Great Start Pod. So basically, go and check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. For those who like listening to podcasts on YouTube, and also some content is also being planned for YouTube as well. So it's good to subscribe, hit the notification bell icon, so that whenever it is that we get to post anything on YouTube, you also get to check it out. We also have a new website, guys. We have a new website. So on the link that I will post on this podcast description, description. On the podcast description, go and check out our website. We have a section for feedback. So if you have any feedback that you want to give to me, basically anything about the podcast that you think you may want to change of, or anything, there's that feedback section. Write a comment, share it with us, and I'll definitely get to look at it. I'll definitely get to check it out, and basically that. Join our Discord community as well, in order to get to join the community and be the first Formula One community in Kenya. As usual, it's available on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts. You name it, the Great Start Podcast is on it. So, as I said somewhere in the middle of the podcast, we also opened a way in which you could support the podcast, and it's basically also a Kenyan thing. So it's called Tiny Pesa. So all you need to do, however little, however much you do, whatever you'd like to contribute, feel free. Do whatever. But you listening to this podcast alone means so much. It's enough contribution to the podcast. So yeah, feel free, guys. But till the next episode, cheers, guys, and let's meet in the next one.